What is going on, everybody? A little early as always, something you will learn. Okay. Something you will learn from watching my content is that live stream wise, I'm always early. I get anxiety about being late. I'm always early. There's that. Good. What's going on, Ed? Nice to see you. Good afternoon, Jiffer. Okay, so what we're going to do on this video, now that we are fully here, we are set up and we're good to go. Looks like we got about 12 people in here now. I put out a poll regarding the news story that I posted about a couple of days ago, wherein Microsoft has a patent for a 360-degree folding device. I'm going to let's see here. Let's pull up the patent, as some may call it. Here, you can see this is just sort of images from Walking Cap, but that's really all we need. This is a Surface Duo style device that folds, if you don't know, but it is actually able to fold in both directions, like a thing that LG showed, like the current Surface Duo can now. So that is very kind of you. Thank you. I appreciate that. Best is a pretty good. Best is pretty good. So I brought that up to you guys. I said, hey, imagine having something like this that is a Z fold, of course, more like this way, but it's got the ability to fold all the way around so that you maintain your postures, so forth and so on. 360 fold. Would you guys be interested if Surface Duo 3 was that? Is that something that you would want? So I put out a poll. And the results honestly have been kind of surprising to me. I'll show you what the results are, in case you haven't seen them. 562 votes. And it's kind of shifted a little bit around, from where I looked at it the other day, but still, 33% of people, would you buy Surface Duo with a single folding OLED display? And I pinned a comment here of clarification from Valero, 360-degree folding display. Yes was 33% of that vote. That is a lot higher than I think I expected. Feel free in the comments to kind of talk about, how you feel about this. Obviously, we're going to be talking about it. Probably, but I'm a little resistant. Actually fell. It actually was a little higher, but now it's 12%. Maybe is 18%. So you could say here, 33, that's 55, that's 73. 73% of people are somewhere between open to it and, yeah, they'd buy it. That's way more than I thought it would be. I thought people would be much more resistant to this concept. And we're going to get into some of these. I got a ton of comments that I kind of just want to read through and see what, we can kind of glean from this. But of course, for me, the big caveat here is that when you're talking about Surface Duo, and I've said this, God, a million times, but it's a single screen as far as Android cares. So, use your imagination and draw out that seam. Just make that be a single tablet display in your mind. And what Microsoft is doing here, I almost said Samsung. What Microsoft is doing here is really they're, on any phone, you can do the Samsung thing, and you can open an app, and then you can open another app and split window it. It's not letting me. There it goes. Laggy, slower than it should be. Anyways, on any device, you can do this. You can split window. All Microsoft is doing is they've drawn a line and they've set it up so that any app launched on this side automatically split windows. And the second piece of this is that it also then leaves nothing on the other side, so that if you launch anything from here, it automatically split windows. All of that is just software, and it has nothing to do with the device being dual screen. Nothing to do with it. So on that front, could you replicate the functionality so that you have a device like this with that software partition, and you launch an app over here? Let's just unlock the thing. You launch an app over here. This thing's being really laggy this morning. You draw a line through it, and if you launch an app over here, it's split windows. Launch an app over here, it's split windows. You could absolutely replicate that functionality on a folding OLED device. Now, there's another piece of this, though. You know, Panos Panay talked a lot about this, about how having two physically partitioned spaces, your brain lights up in a different way. You perceive it differently. How much would that be replicated by that software? The fact that it acts as though it is split screen. That is a Z Fold 2 that I just had out. That is the only folding OLED device that I have. She's over a year old now, still going strong. I think honestly, I think it's just being laggy because I haven't messed with it. That's probably the first time I've unlocked it in 3 or 4 days. Actually, since 3 or 4 days, it looks like. So it was grabbing notifications. It was like trying to catch up with everything. So that kind of makes it act a little bit funny. But that's kind of the other piece of the question for me, and I'd love to know what you guys think about this. Would that software, do you think that the physical partitions of Duo are important enough that you couldn't, via that software, replicate that? You couldn't make it as good as, where your brain perceives it the same way? Because I've talked about this before. With my Fold, you can do all the split windowing stuff, but because it's a manual procedure, I wind up doing it way less than on Duo. On Duo, I do it all the time, constantly. I all the time am just in book mode. I'll have an app opened, and I'll either click a link and opens the other app on the other side, or I will just think about Reddit, and I'll go click Reddit, and it'll open up on the other screen. I do it just instinctively, whereas on the Fold, I don't. So that software could give you that experience. I think the best thing would be a hybrid of both Duo and Z Flip. Like the concept I showed off a couple days ago that was a two-screened Z Flip kind of a thing. I don't know how to describe it any better. I still use my original Fold daily. Yeah, man, those plastic screens, the UTG can crack over time, but the plastic is not going to. Yeah, so let's take a look at some of these comments, because these results were quite interesting to me. And I wanted to see what some of you guys said, and I've not read most of these comments. I'm going to kind of go through them here. Susan Joshua McDaniel says, I like what they have now, and part of me feels that way. Only if the screen is durable. No plastic screens for me. Thank you, Liam Harrington. This is actually kind of a misnomer that I want to clear up. I see this all the time. All the time I hear people say, I don't want a plastic screen like Z Fold. It's not plastic. It is ultra thin glass. The original Fold was plastic. The Huawei Mate XS, the outward folding screens, are plastic. Z Fold, Motorola, Oppo, these are ultra thin glass. I know that's weird that glass is bending, but glass is bending. It is glass. That being said, with the LG patent, and I suppose I should probably pull this up. 365. That was probably my history. I don't ever watch videos on this account. With this technology, this 360 folding nonsense, which I'm going to pull up here. Let's go back to this for the moment. Bear with me just a second here. I can show you guys what it is. I should have had this prepped, but I didn't. There's that. I'm finding the original video. Just bear with me. I'm about to have it here. Why is no one posting it? Okay, I'm just going to Google it. LG 360 Fold video. Yep, there it is. Got it. Make sure it's muted. Okay, we're back. We're good. So with this LG 360 folding nonsense, folding this way, I'm not in picture. Folding this way can be ultra thin glass. Folding this way requires either stretching, just because of physics, the screen has to stretch, or something is moving around here. Maybe some of the screen, when it's closed, slides up into the bezel so that it can slide back out. I don't know what the mechanism is or what kind of magic they are doing, but in that instance, that might be plastic of some sort. Let me get caught up on some of these comments here. I think we're making folds because we don't know where to push tech to. Candy bar phone is perfect, fits thin. I think we're making folds because it's become evident that phones do so much more. The fact that we call them phones is evidence of this. They're not phones. They are phones, but they're cameras, they're multimedia stations, they're gaming systems, they're mobile recording studios, they're et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So it only makes sense. Like if you ask me, I don't have a normal phone in here in front of me. If you ask me a normal slab phone, and then you say, do you want to use that to do a game, to do a video edit, to shoot on with your camera, to watch a video, or do you want something that can open up? I'm going to say, give me something that can open up. It makes sense. Slab candy bar phones are restrictive. Yes, they fit in your hand, but why would you not want a bigger, better screen? That's where it's not so much that we're making folds because we don't know where to push tech to. Tech is going to a place where folding devices make more sense. I think the partition is good for when you are trying to multitask, but equally problematic to the crease. And I think, I don't necessarily agree with that either. I think that the crease in the fold is something that I promise you, my experience is that, like, when I'm looking straight on at this thing, I don't see the crease. The crease may as well not be there. You only see it when I hold the light just right at it. When I'm watching video content, you don't see it anymore. And now, do you feel it? Yeah, but like you stop feeling it after a pretty short amount of time. I had a buddy he bought a Fold 3. He was really worried about that being a problem for him. He's like, no, it's fine. It doesn't bother him at all. I think that if we get rid of the split and we go full OLED, and the software is just as good at encouraging me to do multiple things, and I get the ability to span video content across both, if I wanted to do that, is that the best of both worlds? Maybe. Many feel the promise of full functionality dual screen would be achieved by software. They may be right, and that's kind of what I'm trying to suss out here. I really don't know, and I don't think I will know until, like, God, I wish somebody would take Duo's software and like extract it and port it somewhere. Port it onto another tablet. Like, just let me feel what that would be like. Someone make a launcher that does this so I can see it. Glad I bought my Duo 2 at Microsoft Work for 35 days, then died on the road dead. Yeah, you commented about that. That's crazy. What did it just stop functioning? What exactly happened? How is the screen protector hold up on the crease of your wife's Flip? It's not peeling, but there is a hairline crack in her screen protector, not the screen. The screen is fine because you can take your nail and you can feel it. It's in the screen protector and it is in the crease, and it's almost all the way across it now. But it is the screen protector. So I'm like, hey, it's cosmetic. I asked her if she was bothered by it. She said no. So I guess we're okay. Basically a Z Fold outer screen, but a Duo inner screen with a physical partition. So the cool thing about this, I may be missing what you're trying to say here, but the cool thing about the 360 Fold thing is that you don't need an outer display, an outer screen, because you can still use phone mode. Just like in this video here, I think they cut it short of going all the way around, but the last thing you see here is it would still be able to have phone mode, just the same as this. You would just have screen wrapping all the way around. So the form factor would change very little, actually. Yeah, battery life and camera aren't phenomenal for sure on the Flip, but she seems to really like hers. Need to be durable. software that's been tested. So it sounds, yep, absolutely. These are all very, very big. The durability thing is a factor for a lot of people. Second screen attachment. That's an interesting concept. That is an interesting concept. So you're talking about like you have a normal phone and you can slap another phone, another screen onto it. It's an interesting idea. Duo 2 got really hot after the last update, then turned off 2 days later, turned back on one time, heated up again and shut down forever. Wow! That's crazy. That's a new one. I've not seen that before. Well, I'm glad that you're able to get compensated for it, because that would be horrible to just be stuck with. That would suck. Yeah, absolutely. If you don't know, go hit them up. Hit that subscribe button for them. Okay. Plastic screens, no thank you. I like dual monitors. Again, it may be plastic. It may be ultra thin glass. We just don't know. Would still need to be dual screen. I don't really know what that, I don't know what kind of, do you think they mean in software? It would still need to be dual screen software, or are they just not understanding? I don't know. I think they should make both. That's kind of something I agree with as well. Have two models. That is true. Good call. LG made that already. Basically. Kind of already exists. Just find a way to give real notification window and it's perfect. I don't care about a notification window at all. I don't care about any kind, like I've seen people say like, oh, make the Windows logo like light up or something. And I'm like, I don't know. Maybe I'm just spoiled because I've got like 4 smartwatches on the house, but like, I don't care about that. But I do like the idea of having different models, right? Duo is a model, and then like Duo Ultra is an OLED, you know, like they could do that. And theoretically the software wouldn't have to be like wildly different, you know, because like, again, like I've said, it doesn't see it as 2 screens. So maybe the software could be relatively similar. A virtual line. So like when you're not spanned, literally have a line down the middle, so that maybe that would help you like mentally draw the partition. Maybe. It's interesting. Daniel says, I want a more durable device, not a less durable one. And it's a concern. I do want to say this, though, and this was a conversation that I partially had on Twitter. Can I find it in an expedient way? Probably not, but I will quickly try because I want to give credit to it. I don't remember who it was, so I'm not going to be able to find it. I get a lot of, oh, yeah, here we go. Here we go. This was it. Yeah, so I made a stupid joke about Bill Gates' precious Z Fold. When will it evolve into a Surface Duo like a Pokemon? I'm just being stupid. And Elatia, I feel so bad. Day 276 without my Z4 committing Duo side. My Duo 2 is over a year. I think that there is a misconception that these folding devices are just all super duper fragile. I think that are they more fragile than a Corning Gorilla Glass Victus screen? Absolutely they are. But I also think that there's a bit of confirmation bias. How many people have a normal phone, an S21, an S22, an iPhone, and their screen cracks? They drop it and they crack their screen or whatever. A lot. How many of them then go to Reddit or Twitter to post pictures about their screen being broken? Like none of them ever anymore, because like it's just a fact of life. The same when you talk about folding screens, everyone whose phone their folding screen breaks. Like I think it's a much higher percentage of people that then go to social media, Reddit, Twitter, Instagram, whatever, and they post about it because it's more controversial. So I think we have a bit of a confirmation bias going on there as well. So I don't think that they're nearly as fragile as people think. They're more fragile than normal, not as fragile as people think. Again, we're over a year. No problem at all. LG dual screen. We had a V60 with the dual screen case in the house for a little bit. I would love to see an Apple device. Would love to see Apple do something similar. Every time I pause YouTube app on Duo 2, it would start playing. I've had that happen like a couple of times, and I don't know what it is. What's always solved it for me, if I'm remembering correctly, is just to clear out Do I clear all apps and just start over, or do I clear all apps but YouTube? I might force quit everything. I might clear everything. Something like that, and that seems to resolve it. But yeah, I've had it happen a couple times. It seems to be an issue with like Android not knowing what screen is being opened, or there's something weird going on there. But it's like I've not had it in weeks now, but I had it a couple times. Let's see. I think I'm part of a small portion of the population never had a phone drop or break or crack. I'm trying to think if I ever have. I don't know that I have. I've dropped a phone. The only phone I ever dropped and broke was a Samsung Galaxy S3, and it was like 2.5 years old, rooted, running CyanogenMod. The power button had stopped working, so I had like an on-screen thing to handle it, and like double tap or something like that, some kind of workaround. And it was beat to hell, and I dropped it, and it gave up the ghost. That was the end of that. Yeah, probably. Probably the case. Not gonna argue with you. But yeah, I can totally understand, like, personally, I mean, Duo 1 was pretty fragile. My Duo 2 is holding up like a tank so far. I dropped it. I've talked about this on a stream or something, this corner here that it landed on. It actually dented the bezel border frame's a better word, but nothing broke. It landed almost in the exact same spot that my Duo 1 landed, and the Duo 1 cracked and this one didn't. Anecdotal. The plural of anecdote is not evidence. If they found a way to keep it the same as Duo with emphasis on two-screen experience with one larger screen, I think that is the big thing. And I also want to say, nice dog. And now I've lost my place. I've made a terrible mistake. Okay, it would be funny if everyone gets on board after 2 years of insisting dual screen served an important, distinct use case. See, this is the thing about it for me. Is it right now, I would have told you, yeah, that dual screen serves an important and distinct use case. And I'm also open to the idea that I'm wrong, because if the software can duplicate a dual screen experience sufficient, I might be wrong. And that's kind of what I want to find out, and what I want to, it's a conclusion I want to come to. Make changes to react to MKBHD's critiques, not just his, but a lot of people's. But I get your point. But we're losing out on the OG vision. The OG vision is dead. The OG vision of Surface Duo is dead and buried. Let's talk about that for a second, because I think he brought up a couple of good points here. So the OG Duo was going to look like this. It could fold all the way around both ways. And it ran Andromeda OS. It ran a version of Windows. And we've seen it. If you've not seen the video, go on Windows Central YouTube channel, look up Andromeda, you'll find it. They showed it off. They got a hold of it and got it running on Lumia. And it was a pocket PC. It was an elegant, beautiful pocket PC. Not a phone. Not a phone. But Andromeda OS was canceled because many reasons. It was buggy, it was bad, it wasn't going to work. So they put Android on it, and that made it a phone. The operating system made it a phone. And as a phone, it's a bad phone. It's awkward to take phone calls on. It's just really big, which, I don't care. I use speakerphone or earbud anyways. But modern phones have great cameras, and so it's a phone now, so it's got to have a great camera. So Microsoft had to pretty quickly compromise and go, well, this wasn't our original vision, but we got to slap a big camera on it because we got to be a phone now. And they said, well, it's compromising the vision, but not by that much, right? So it'll be okay. So my point is, the original vision is already dead. And so now Microsoft is in a place where they had a vision that is now dead, and they're trying to morph it into a new vision. And the question is now, how far will that metamorphosis go? And that's a really difficult question to answer. Mine's been dropped once and it cracked. Luck of the draw. It happens. Yep. Good to hear. Oh yeah, have you ever seen an iPhone that didn't have a cracked screen in your entire life? Being sarcastic, of course you have. While I am more productive on my Duo 2, I can react more quickly to alerts, take faster pictures, answer the phone more quickly on single screen phones. Absolutely. That is a very important distinction. Duo is great. It's like I said, it's a bad phone. Phones are meant to be like you just said, pull it out, answer a phone call, take a quick picture, whatever. It's not great at any of that stuff. But if you're seated and you're like, okay, I am in work mode, I am in do things mode, it's really hard to beat. But it's a really good comment, actually. Something people don't. I know people do talk about it, but there's something about the way that was put that really like triggered something in my brain. Absolutely right. And would a folding OLED, 360 folding OLED, would that change anything about that at all? No. That would not change at all. Be exactly the same. Yes, they are. They are. They're coming out AMD. You mean running ARM? Because there's a little mini ARM PC that's probably running like an 8CX. It should be. It should be. Yeah, I could see that. Okay, yeah, ARM. Yeah, phones are getting very, very large and very, very, very heavy. I'm kind of used to it at this point, though. I'm excited. I think it's called Project Voltara or something like that. There is so much news happening today with Build that I've honestly barely even looked at it. I'm going to finish this live stream, and then I think Build should be over for too long, and then I can start like actually sifting through it for content the next couple of days. This is exactly what I would want to see. They could do a software split, so it's still Duo. Yes, exactly. I would like them to focus on hinge and bezels. If the hinge is smaller, the device looks more... Yeah. Hinge and bezels. I do think that the bezels serve somewhat of an important thing here, because I like whenever I'm going into phone mode, like I guess you could just do that and touch the screen, but I wind up selecting things. So what I do a lot is I will literally hold the bottom bezel and I will do that until the screen is off. That may be silly, that may be overkill, but the bezels serve an important feature for me, but software could make that better too. Let's see here. Sandra Payne, YouTube member of 11 months. Almost coming up on a year of being a YouTube member. How crazy is that? Well done. Thank you. Maybe, but honestly, I prefer the dual screen design. If I wanted a folding OLED, I would have already bought a Z Fold, especially when my use case for Duo is to almost always fold it closed in phone mode. I wouldn't want folding OLED on the outside, which, yes, especially since ultra thin glass can't fold backwards like that means. Yeah, so there's a lot there too. So I will say that this concept, being that it's a 360 fold, would be a different prospect to the Z Fold, because the Z Fold it would be different in two ways potentially. Z Fold is only ever a tablet, whereas this device, if the software was as we're describing, it would still behave as a dual screen device. And then the second thing would be that it could be thinner because you don't have to have a cover display, right? Because you could just fold it around and then your display in phone mode is just the same display. Now, at that point, you have display just wrapping all the way around, and that could be a fragility concern. However, the good news is that you would be able to fully close the thing, thus protecting all of the screen. Some good, some bad, some pros, some cons. All right. I am undecided for many of the reasons being discussed here in these comments and in the live chat. To be fair, whatever device the Surface team creates, it will always seem to be amazing quality and built in such a way that it is a joy to use. Duo is amazing because of the two screens. Be a great Surface, but not a Duo. What's in a name? It could still be a Duo, right? What would they call it? I mean, because if the approach is still two apps at once through software, you could still call it a Duo. Yep, back to that. Lisa Oliver, she's been a member for 7 months. Love that it has two screens. If I wanted a bigger screen, I'd use a tablet. I mean, there's a lot of that. It's like, I like that it's two screens. I like that it's like a book. Lisa's actually, if I'm not mistaken, an author. She writes books. So she probably likes that it's like a book. That makes sense to me. That's fair. When I open Facebook on the right screen, I am unable to select any emoticons. Anyone else? It got cut off there, but he said I can select. He's asking if anyone else experienced that. I don't have a Facebook account, so I can't tell you. the ZenBook foldable laptop. Is it the folding OLED one that I think Asus showed off? A couple of companies have shown off like folding OLED laptops, which is, I think, really cool. Well, I can appreciate the one screen folding devices. I do prefer two screens. It would potentially look super cool. And there is something to be said about looking super cool. Like a great big giant OLED screen that can fold over and be like a laptop, which I would definitely. I'd use that. I'd buy that, not for $3,000, but maybe. Even with a single display. Yep, it's another comment on that. Everyone seems to be kind of on that bandwagon. Probably will, but I like the current words. Probably would, but I really like the current form factor. Here, I like what they're doing now. It's unique and well designed. There is a uniqueness to it, right? Because if you did go with this 360 fold, you would have to really hammer home. No. It folds both ways to differentiate. It's not a Z fold. It folds both ways. Because if you show up, Microsoft shows up, and everyone thinks they just made a Z fold, they're really going to be dead in the water. At least right now, it's distinct. It's different. There you are again. The whole uniqueness of Duo is the two separate screens. Yeah. My nose is itching for some reason, like the tip of my nose. What does that mean? What does that mean? Does that mean I'm having a stroke or something? Let's see here. They have the Duo 2 on sale, $500 off. Yep, it's right now $999, and I think UK actually just got the deal there. Is it worth the upgrade? That really depends on you. So for me, man, it's so hard to separate all these factors. I do YouTube, so for me, I had to buy it. I wasn't doing YouTube, and I was just a big tech addict. Would I've still upgraded? Probably. Because I really like having a decent camera, and I have a decent camera now. But that's going to be, if you don't care about the camera, if it's like your secondary device, then no, it's not worth it at all. Stick with your original, which you can find on Amazon. As a couple of people bought one on Amazon the other day from my affiliate link. Thank you. Currently love using Duo 1. Two screens is a joy to have. It changes the way I use my device. Absolutely. Absolutely. I like Duo 1 better. I like the form factor of Duo 1 better, right? The thinness, the fact that it folds all the way around. But again, I like having a good camera. There are some features I'd like to see. There's a ton of features that Duo needs to get. And I actually speculated on a video a couple days ago about maybe some of these features. Stuff like inking on the lock screen, stuff like glance bar enhancements, like being able to have third-party apps take advantage of the glance bar. And I was like, well, maybe this stuff is coming, closer to 12L. Maybe it's going to be part of 12L. Well, Zach from Windows Central has said that that stuff should be coming maybe next month. The next update, he's here in June. So maybe we're gonna get some new features. You mean like the rolling screens? Samsung has shown off. I think I did a video about it. They did a video where they showed off their rolling screen again. TCL is making one as well. Duo 1 is better in some ways. Duo 2 is better in some ways. My Duo 2 is still smoother in terms of just running than my Duo 1, and of course the camera is wildly better. I don't have a PO box or anything like that set up. I've thought about doing that, but I also feel weird about accepting things from people. You can send me an email. We'll talk, and we'll figure out if it's something worth doing. If it's something not to be disparaging, but if it's, I'm weird about this kind of stuff. So if you don't know my email, shane@scaryifliteral.com is my email address. Just shoot me an email and we can talk. See what we're doing, what we're thinking. If they brought back Neo's size in a 180-degree fold, oh man, it would be fantastic. It would be fantastic. That would be incredible. I want to buy a Z. No, hold on. Z Fold 4 isn't even out yet. No one needs to spend that much money on me. That is absolutely fine. I will, if it's different enough that I want to get one, I'll figure out a way to get one. But I couldn't begin to accept something like that. I would feel very, I don't even know. Even like the super chats are strange to me. Like I don't know. Like I watch, like I don't know if you guys ever watch like video game streaming stuff. Like I do every once in a while, but like some of these streamers are streaming and they're getting $500 donations and super chats, and I'm like, I don't even know what I would do if someone gave me $500 in a live stream. I'd be like, what? Can I come to your house and mow your yard or something? Like what I've done here clearly is not warranting of money like that. But man, some people are just crazy generous. Would like to see Edge better able to utilize the screens and easier access to toggle pin charge and off on. Yep, both of those things would be good. Actually, I had a Twitter thread a few maybe a week ago with some developers for Edge tagged in it. You know, why does Edge not give us the easy multi-window? No one ever responds to this stuff. It's super frustrating. I don't understand. I don't know what the deal is with it. I think Sony's phones look really good. The camera seems like a cool idea. They don't lean heavy into the processing stuff, but they look really good. But they're way too expensive. No one's ever gonna buy these phones. They're way too expensive for what they're offering. Tried to send you a slim pin before, but I failed to reach you. Did you send an email? Because I'm pretty diligent. I even check my spam folder because I got all kinds of stuff in my spam folder. If I missed you somehow, I don't know how I did. But yeah, Shane at scaryifliteral.com. Or if you go to scaryifliteral.com, there's a contact form at the very bottom of the page. That gets directly to me as well. Let's see here. I have an S21 Ultra. I like the Surface 2 very much, and I might want to change. Do I deteriorate a lot? Are you asking like Are you asking how Duo 2 compares to the S21 Ultra? Is that what you're asking? It would be interesting to see, but I mean, in today's modern world, you have to have apps. If you can't compete on the app front, you know, when that new app, like think about it like this. And I know that the people in this chat probably do not give a rat's behind about TikTok. But the rest of the world does. You know what I mean? And when TikTok shows up and blows up and explodes and becomes the most popular thing in the world, and you're the only phone operating system that can't do it, that does hurt. And again, I know that it's like, well, but this is for work, this is for email, this is, but your Duo's already, like, this is a niche device already just because of what it is. And then you take that niche and you say, like, I'll give you a perfect example. If this thing wasn't running Android, if it was running some weird version of Windows that was not going to have the apps that I use every day, I was going to have to use my web browser to manage my Twitter account, to manage my YouTube channel. I would have probably had very little interest in this device. The fact that it's Android, the fact that it has the openness and just the endless capabilities of Android, the fact that I can open this thing up, launch a Nintendo DS emulator, span it, have my controls here and play it. You take away Android, I don't think I care anymore. I really don't. I know that may be sacrilege to some people, but I think that it's true of a lot of people. So I think if you go niche and then you double down on niche, I don't know who you're selling to anymore. Like, who's your audience at that point? Who are you hoping to capture? Because I don't think there's many people left at that point. We have 62 people in here. That is wild. What's going on, everybody? How's everybody doing? How's everybody feeling today? How's everybody feeling about folding devices? This stuff still just blows my mind. Like, I'll sit here and just watch stuff like this. I'm like, it's just crazy. I remember I was going through my Google Photos account the other day, and I came across a picture. I'm going to see if I can find it. I came across a picture where Samsung first showed off the Z Fold, what would be the original Z Fold. And he was in like a dark room. I probably never gonna be able to find this. I don't know why I would even try. He was in a dark room, so you couldn't like see the body of the phone. You could just see the screen, and then you open it, you could see another screen on the inside. So like they had it all dim, so you couldn't see it. And I remember seeing that and being like, oh my God, that is the craziest thing I've ever seen. Absolutely nuts. I just haven't had much to say about VR. I play one game. I play Thrill of the Fight every day, 2 or 3 times. I know that's insane, but it's good cardio. Um, I'm just not sure that I have much of interest to say about it. When there's news, like I think I've seen a couple of quick news stories about Apple's potential VR stuff, but like when there's stuff that I have something I can add about it, I definitely will talk about it. There's just not really been much going on as of late. It's like Quest 2's out and it's good. And it's just kind of rolling on. There's software updates here and there, but nothing really landmark life changing. So that will cover stuff as it comes around. They absolutely need to add more customization. Yes, that is a huge selling point of Android. You're 100% correct. They need to do that like yesterday. What's going on, Platinum? Holographic displays. You're like you're like looking at your phone and like stuff is coming off of it. Is that what you mean? Do we want that? It is. It's fantastic on every other device. It's really weird. I made a few of those. I still make some of those. I still talk about the Fold. Talk about the Fold 4 all the time. I've covered every bit of news about the Fold 4. 12L on Duo. I'm on Android 13 beta. I'm a Pixel 6, and it's an improvement mostly. Yeah. The APIs are going to be interesting. I'm going to be really curious to see when 12L drops, how many apps get updated to accommodate larger screens, number one. Number two, how many of those apps format themselves via happenstance to work well on Duo, because that's kind of my concern. Like we've talked about on this channel, I can give a real good example. Like you take like Google Messages and you split screen it and it cuts. Like that's not more useful. Like it's kind of, but I mean you're losing text in the middle. If this was slid over 3/4 of an inch, we'd be in business. And it's like, will the APIs in Android 12L, will there be hooks in place that Duo can communicate to that app? Hey, move it over. Will that happen? I don't know. I'm skeptical. I've seen many people say, well, maybe it will, maybe it will. Maybe it will, but ifs and buts and so forth, the saying. I don't know how that's going to go, but I'm very curious to see. Primarily, I'm curious to see if, we've talked about the software that enables dual screen, that enables the multi-windowing. If you take that, because it sounds like that functionality will now be just a thing that the OS can just do natively without the Microsoft launcher having to do it. I'm curious to see that offloading, if that is something that is going to have a marked improvement on things. Vivo X Fold looks very good. The software is a little iffy because it's made for Chinese markets and they have very different wants and needs, I should say. Mr. Mobile, I know, is doing a video on it, so we'll see. Hidden camera with the flicker we both didn't like. Yeah, the under display camera in the Fold 3 makes my brain bleed. It's absolutely horrible. I was watching a video this morning. I was watching on Netflix David Letterman's interview show he interviewed Billie Eilish. And for whatever reason, I was watching that. And they were showing a clip from one of her concerts, and it's just like strobe lights and stuff like that. And I'm like, and that's why I can't go to concerts, because I cannot handle strobe lights. And so that phone, the under display camera on Z Fold 3, that like lattice effect, it like shimmers and flickers to me. And it's horrible. Makes it like instantaneous pain. I don't know if my Fold 2, I'm sure my Fold 2 crease has gotten worse, but I really don't even notice it. It doesn't. But I mean, to each their own, I can't speak for everybody. Tab 8 Ultra does look really good. It's so big. Oh my God. I played with one in Best Buy the other day. The Best Buy here in Knoxville, there's two of them, but the one closer to me, on Kingston Pike, there's somebody in Knoxville in this chat. They're gonna go, I know where that is. they're like renovating, they're like remodeling. It's like one of the, apparently it's going to be like the best the person there was like, it's going to be the flagship Best Buy in all of North America or something. They're probably making it up, but it's a big Best Buy. So they're remodeling. But the last time I was in there before they're remodeling, you could like walk on the floor. I got to play with the Tab S8 Ultra, and it is, good God, it is big. It's crazy. Yeah, because whatever you're looking at is off your screen. People could see it from a mile away. You got to be careful what you're looking at. From Austria. Okay. Very cool. Very cool. How about Neo's size device and runs Android on an outside screen, Windows or Android on an open screen? I like it. I like the idea. I like the idea of just like Daniel Rubino said, just, I mean, if you're not going to release Neo with Windows on it, just release it with Android on it. If that's the only way we're going to get the hardware, just release the damn thing. Let us have it. Switching from Note 10 Plus to the Fold 4 when it comes out, just hope it's dust proof. I believe, yeah, because wasn't it that it was like water resistant, but it offered no rating for dust resistance or something like that? Is that right? Because dust is a killer on those devices. And if you work in a field, which I don't, maybe you'll take this as a good thing, but you look like an individual who works in what may be a dusty environment. Probably the weirdest thing anyone's going to say to you all day, maybe all week. Not an insult. I just bought Surface Duo 2 and I love it. It's like having a super large phone. Talk about the Tab S8. You can call on it too. That's hilarious. Are you seeing? So this goes back to something I said earlier. Are you like? I mean, like I said, everyone who has a Fold whose screen cracked, they all go on Twitter and Reddit and post a picture. Like every one of them. I'm trying to imagine, like, has there ever been in the history of Fold someone whose Fold cracked and they went, well, no one needs to know about this, and just like went about their day? I don't know. I think everyone posts this. So I think that there's just this perception that they all break. When again, my wife's Flip 3, same tech, going strong. My Fold 2's over a year old, going strong. I don't think it's as crazy as what people think it is. What was the context of this? Are we talking about Neo, maybe? I don't know. No, nothing official, just patents. Just a patent. And of course, patents are patents. Like, I don't even know if they're even granted this patent, but they filed it. Like we saw patents of Duo before it came out, a dual screen device, and they were, rumors and stuff, and then it happened. But we've also seen stuff have patents that never see the light of day. So, who knows? Apparently I haven't been in touch with the mobile world while because I didn't realize basically every single Samsung line had been refreshed. Still thought S21 Fold 3 and Tab S7 were current. S22 Fold 4 around the corner. Tab S8 just came out. I mean, to be fair, like I could tell you that I'm like, just a great read of people, but if you're asking if the phone can handle dust or that you want it to be able to handle dust, not a big leap. But yeah, no, you're totally right. Like for people that work in an environment like that would be a concern, like for me, like works, this is where I work, is this room. So, not a big deal, but for someone like yourself that works in an aluminum factory, for sure, and that's not just, I reckon that's not just like regular dust, right? Like that's like, is it aluminum dust? That's got to be way worse. Like you got to be wearing goggles or something in that building. You want to get that stuff in your eyes. That'd be horrifying. Let's see here. What else we got? Folds have become popular. They're already becoming popular though. They're exponentially growing currently. Year over year, their market share and their growth is growing. But you are right in the sense that when Apple does it, it will be explosively popular. Explosively popular. We're up to 72 people in the chat. Insanity. Good to see all of you. I've read through all the comments on the poll. I'm so just surprised by this. I'm so just surprised by how open to this idea people actually are. The 33% of people are just saying straight up, yeah, I'd buy it. That's just crazy. It's super interesting to me. How much is Android utilizing the power of Duo 2's chip? I mean, I've gone on record many times as saying that Android does a poor job of Android in general and Android apps. Really, every mobile operating system does a poor job of utilizing the raw horsepower that our phones have. I liken it to having a car with a top speed of 220 miles an hour, but you only ever drive on highways that top out at 65. So you're never going to go 220. So why have it? Why bother? It doesn't make any sense. I'll give you a good example. I mean, you take a Windows on ARM device, take the Surface Pro X, run it through Geekbench, and get that score. Take your Surface Duo and run it through Geekbench and get that score. The ARM device running Windows could download a full desktop video editor, let's say. Now, granted, you're someone, okay, DaVinci Resolve. I don't know what full editors are ARM compatible, but just roll with me on this. They have access as a desktop operating system to much more power intensive, much bigger, applications. Utilize that power more, despite the fact that this is probably more powerful. Okay, like the Surface Pro X was based, the 8CX, I believe, am I wrong? Was it based on the Snapdragon 855? This is more powerful. But Android just doesn't have apps that really utilize it because it's a phone. We're getting there, right? Like, I think CapCut is a really great, like, fully featured video editor. There's another one that's coming over to Android. LumaFusion is a great example. So we're getting there. But the hardware has far outstripped the software. It's just how it's worked out. The hardware has just blown out in front of it. It just has. And a lot of that power is used here and there sporadically, like computational photography. There's a whole imaging pipeline in your CPU dedicated just to this. So some of it's there, some of it's not. But, and then like in gaming, man, look at some of these modern Android games. They look like high end PS3 games at this point. Like, it's crazy. It's crazy how good like mobile games look now. So it is and it isn't. But at the same time, it's like, what does Instagram use? What percentage? I mean, you can't possibly give an actual answer to this question. Like, what percentage of your Snapdragon 888 is being used? You could say what the utilization was, but it'll spike and drop, so that doesn't really, you can't really quantify it that way. But like Instagram or Twitter, like, you know what I mean? Like, that's nothing. It's nothing. You don't have a problem with Duo 2 after the last update. Yeah, I'd love to see if anybody else had any issues. It's really weird because it was supposed to just be a security patch. And it was such a small update. I don't know what could have possibly happened. It's very odd. I think a lot of people probably feel that way. Absolutely. Like I said, you're going to see spikes and then drops. Sustained stuff, if you're like exporting a video, that will sustain for a long time. That's why typically that stuff is used to check thermals. You want to see if the computer you built, if your thermal paste was applied correctly. Well, render some 4K and see if the heat jumps up. So yeah, definitely, it spikes and drops. You know what I mean, though. It's very strange. I have no idea. It doesn't make any sense. Is there any way to use Duo as an extended display for a Surface Go? There may be an app for it. I don't know. I know that on like a really cool feature of some of the Galaxy Tab devices is the extended display. You literally hit a button on your tablet, on your notification shade, and then you hit like Control K on your Windows computer, and then select your tab, and it becomes another monitor. It's fantastic. It just works. It just works. Microsoft should do that. Samsung does it. Why can't they? That'd be cool. Let's see here. I mean, there's plenty of cases that come in both. I mean, I almost wonder if you could buy one of those like cheap cases off Amazon and just use one side of it. I don't know. Hello, hello, hello. What's going on? Excuse me. Lots of good comments today. Lots of good stuff. I was doing these live streams like 2 a week. I think that was just too many. I need more time to let stuff kind of breathe. I'm gonna give you a really good example of something that just no one ever thinks about, but it really irritates me and it really bothers me. Introducing Project Volterra. If you're photosensitive, don't like look away from your screen for a second, okay? Because this pisses me off. I'm clicking play now. Why? Why do you need to do that? That irritates the living crap out of me. I hate that. It's unnecessary. Doesn't take people into account. So 12L is out for developers for manufacturers to be working on. Microsoft is currently working on it. When will they release it for the phone, for Duo and Duo 2? Probably late summer. That's the current rumor. Late summer, early fall. But yeah, we don't have official word as of yet. No, it is not easy at all. It is actually it's actually horrifying. It's very difficult. There's some things in there that if you don't know inside baseball on, there's a couple of spots where they're like, you make a couple of partitions using parted, and then he's like, you'll know the ones come from the thing you just did. You'll know which one's which. And I'm like, I don't though. I don't know which one's which. And he says, you'll know from the size which partitions are which, but the numbers I typed in are not the sizes that parted gives me when I print. So I'm like, nope. these are not, it's not them at all. I guessed which ones they are, but I've not gotten through the process because of that. I've done some of it, but I'm at a place where I'm stuck and I don't want to brick my phone, and I fear that I'm going to. So we'll see what happens there. What does the L stand for? Large screen? Something. I get that like most people aren't photosensitive and that doesn't bother them, but for me, it does bother me. It's just irritating. It hurts. Like I feel physical pain when I look at that. And it can also trigger, I get hemiplegic migraines where I have auras and I have nausea and vomiting and severe pain and my arm goes numb and all this horrible shit happens to me. And that stuff triggers it. And I never know. I'm like, oh, cool. Panos, a video about a thing I'm interested in. Let's watch it real quick. Oh, now I'm going to be sick for 2 days because there's flashing stuff in a video for no freaking reason. It really bothers me. It is like, I don't get mad very easily, but that stuff, it's like it's not the same as a store not having a wheelchair ramp, but it puts me in the same mind. You know what I mean? It's like you just don't care about people. It's like, well, I don't have that problem. Stairs everywhere. Who needs a ramp? I can walk. It's fine. Anyways, I'll get off my soapbox. GSM Arena gives even the type of the coprocessor even more. Are you talking about the Pixel Watch? Oh, yeah, okay, you say that. Do they? I haven't checked it out. Interesting. Question for you about BlackBerry phones and the company they teamed up with, Onward Mobility, failed to deliver. Why not partner with Unihertz? They deliver phones. So I think that BlackBerry, I don't think that they want a license anymore. I think after the Onward Mobility thing, I think that they literally, maybe there was a statement or something But I don't think that they even want to have their name on phones anymore. I think that they're done. Trying to remember, but because I think what happened was Onward Mobility was having problems, but they were like, no, 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 we're still gonna make the phone. And then it was BlackBerry that was like, not with our name on it, and they were like, well, if it can't be called a BlackBerry, then there's no point in making it. So then they canceled it. I may be wrong about that, but I feel like that's something that happened. But I don't think they gave it to them permanently, though. I think they were just licensing it to them. I don't think that they like owned the name. I may be wrong about this, but yeah, I think once they failed to deliver, they were like, never mind then. It was going, I think things were going poorly, and I think BlackBerry knew things that we're not going to know. And I think that they were like, yeah, we don't want our name attached to that. No grinding at all. I don't know if this is going to be audible. Of course it will be because there's nothing there, but you hear anything? My wrist popped a couple of times. But that wasn't the phone. Yeah, no, I've had no issues on the hinge. And in fact, my Duo 1, same thing is true. I've had no issues on either one of them. They both held up really, really well. I think we're coming to they sure did. WebOS and HP. Oh god. Yeah, a lot of people feel that way. I mean, Duo 1's there and it's cheap. It's on Amazon. And what is it running on Amazon now? Surface Duo. I think it's gone back up a little bit. I think it's like $479 now on Amazon. Yeah. 128 gig for $479. But I mean, even for that, like you can find it on eBay and stuff cheaper. But like if you wanted to get one new for $479 in the state that it's in now, it's pretty good. It's pretty good. We are at about an hour, and I need to get up and move around. Maybe pop the headset on and do some Thrill the Fight. Get stretched out a little bit here, and then I gotta get on the ball and start putting together news stories from Microsoft's Build event and start getting stuff going. I'll be posting tomorrow morning the full review of that TCL phone, the 30V 5G. It'll go live in the morning. And then I got to get stuff going from there because I don't actually have anything else primed after that. So we'll get to work after I get up and move around. And I got to be back in this chair again to do the rest of it. Appreciate you. Thank you. Yeah, I mean that if I'm not gonna recap it, but if that's pretty much what the whole first third or half of this video was about, we talked about it pretty in depth. So if you want to rewind or rewatch the replay, then please do feel free to do that. Yeah, it's gonna be a while. They've not even finalized their design yet. Duo 3 does not have a finalized design. Thank you. Thanks to everyone who stopped by, everybody that watched. I think we peaked in the 70s. Pretty crazy. I'll answer this last question real quick. I'll paint you a picture of my day. I wake up at about 6 or 6:30. Phone is unplugged from there. Spend a lot of time at this desk. And so a lot of the times when I'm here, I wind up plugging it in just because there's a plug here, and I just kind of do it instinctively. I don't even think about it, but I typically, I'm going to bed at 9:30 because I'm an old person. And I usually have 20% battery if I didn't plug it in all day. Probably about 20% left, probably between 4 and 6 hours of screen time. Nothing crazy. Not the best, not the worst, but fine. Makes it through the day just fine for me. One thing I do also do is I have an 18-watt fast charger in my car. So if I go to run an errand, I put it in my little car, my little dock, my little holder, and it just gets plugged in. Because I leave my screen on the entire time. Music is on one screen, and then whatever is on the other screen. Maps if I need to navigate somewhere. So I leave this. My screen timeout is 30 minutes. I'll leave it on the entire time. So I'll plug it in while I'm in there. And usually I'll drive for 10 minutes back and forth. And when I get home, I'm at like 90% charge again. So I have no problems with my battery. It's never an issue for me. Okay, so with that all said, I will see you guys on the next one. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing, YouTube members, all that stuff. See you on the next one, guys. And until next time, stay nerdy, my friends.